Hey there folks, and welcome to the next GT7 showcase. This time, update 1.67, which we got 3 new cars to show, starting with the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra 2025. Ow, that's it. That's it for the startup. It's just that. Like no run, nothing. Okay. Anyways, to the parts, which, yeah, you can't really do much besides weight reduction, and that's kind of really it, what you can do to it. Otherwise, not a whole lot for this matter. So kind of a bit of a bono on that. So yeah, I just gave it a sports setup, well, somewhat sports setup, it's like a grade 4 setup, but I say grade 4 setup loosely, but you'll see here. You got racing hard tires, got some parts here, some parts there, as the thing goes. The engine I'm trying to figure out, because apparently it's a V8 electric and V6 electric. Apparently, it's a 3 motor, just so. It's very weird on that margin. But yeah, that's basically it, what you can do to the SU7 for Ultra for parts, which is not surprising. Electric cars always have this. My biggest concern is no ECU, though, as the thing goes. Alright, so for rims, for the stock ones, you can, on the offset, you can widen them, at best. Now, if you do aftermarkets, I was trying to figure out what was kind of good rims for this at the end of the day. You can shrink them down to 20 inches, which I prefer that, because I don't want big inches on my rims at the end of the day, because how much that's going to cost at the end of the day. Again, this car's already expensive already, so, you know. But yeah, you can still just offset. I think you could have whipped there, but probably not. Now for the front, you could add a whip to it. Otherwise, it just has those fenders no matter what. For the Ultra side bangs, and you can also add the side part and a rear skirt to it at the end of it. That's kind of really about it. And then you got a spoiler, which I will say the spoiler is tunable, so I might as well just stay with that spoiler at the end of the day. You can also take the spoiler off, which I think it might have an electric pop-up one, the way I'm looking at that. So I know it has like a clip going on there, so that might be electric pop-up spoiler, perhaps. And then you got hood latches. Then you got the light bulbs you can change at the end of it. So yeah, technically does not much overall. Besides the front grille here, the front grille is probably the biggest thing I liked about this. At the end of the day. But yeah, you get that nice little stripe in the what's the best way? Hood scoops at the end of it. It's just kind of weird. But yeah, that's basically about it we can do. So we're going to go to the World Touring Car 700 at Circuit de los Sarf, in other words, Le Mans. Race at Le Mans. Because here we go with the big test. Can it do Le Mans in 1 lap? Can it cross Le Mans in 1 lap? And no, I'm not kidding. This is always a test for me whenever it comes to electric cars. If they do not cross that 1 lap, I consider an F. Immediately. So let's see, shall we? As the thing goes. So the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra is a very, very fast car. Gotta say, even going way past 600 pp. More on that when we get to the other thing. But for now, the SU7 Ultra is probably a very fast electric car in a lot of people's minds and hearts at the end of the day. And I say heart loosely because, you know, and stuff. But otherwise, basically one of the fastest sedans you could ever drive, period. But you probably know something immediately. Look at that fuel tank. Look at it burn. So I tried to do a bit of a strat to say. I basically just tried to drive it at 180, just let it coast, as the saying goes, because, you know, regeneration is a thing, so you might as well try to see how well the regeneration factor is. And of course, I didn't want to steer with the correct, because yeah, just to say, I had to put weight and everything else to lower it down to 700 here. So, bit of a mess at the end of the day, I must say. And especially the event it's tied to, because yeah, just to say, there is an event it's tied to. It's just a big, huge problem that I'm going to give it L to Polyphony once we get there. But for now, the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra is the best electric car you could ever drive. You might be sarcastic about that very much. Matter of fact, just say, when I'm talking about this, my skin is just cracking because how much I'm lying right now. I am lying so bad about how fantastic this car is. Because apparently, this car is the most fantastic electric car you could ever drive, as the thing goes. And that the only great thing that came out of this is the fact they did one of the fastest records around Nürburgring. Making me realize how irrelevant that really is at the end of the day. And such. But yeah, here we go, getting close to the last bit here. I could just see it getting very close on not being able to reach to the end point here. So come on, baby, you can do it. Come on, I believe in you. As we get across to the corners here, surely you can get to one lap of Le Mans, right? Surely. We go around the corners here and do a turn like that. Yeah, this thing is very hyperactive. Like maybe I shouldn't really hit the full throttle, but I'm sorry, when you have a car this fast, you kind of just want to. Yeah, as we get to the thing here, as I can see the battery just freaking out because it's about to run out. Get around the corners here. And we're out of fuel. Yep, we're out of fuel. So thus, this gets the rating of F for being one of the most golden turds of Gran Turismo I have ever seen they ever added in the first place. And the worst part, on top of it, the freaking bit it's tied to, World Touring Car 600. So, let me ask you something. Do you think it can go lower than 600 pp? I'm just gonna say no. No at all on this event. Matter of fact, this event is the most elaboration of shit I have ever seen, and a big fucking disgrace to me when it comes to balancing and ideals I have about this game that is ruined because of this one little thing here to me. Because yeah, you want to see proof? Here's some proof. Lower it as much as I can on sports hard tires. Only 634 performance points I could do at best, because the fact is they didn't slap a fucking ECU in the goddamn thing. That's the biggest problem. If they slapped an ECU in it, it would have been fine. But no, instead you got a fucking turd that you can't drive in this goddamn event at the end of the day. Which I'm gonna say fucking turd, because I am not gonna slap fucking comfort tires on a goddamn sedan that's supposed to be faster than fuck. I'm sorry, that goes against everything that... I'll just say this, if you see the car in the fucking event, you should be able to fucking damn well use it. So yeah, this event is definitely an F tier in my case. This is what's everything wrong of how you should limit your fucking shit, Polyphony. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go be around this shit because this is dumb. This is like, how can no one not see how bad this is? Because this is like, you should fucking have the ability to put this in an event at the end of the day. Fuck, if anything, call this World Touring Car 650 and I'll be happier, because all these fucking cars in this goddamn event are 650. They're not detuned, they're uptuned. That REM and Mia, definitely up there in the 640 range. That fucking Galador, 630 range. Hurricane, 650 range. RGT, 660. I have so much dead proof of how terrible this fucking event is that I despise what they do in terms of handling this event. This event should have the right amount of opponents, the right amount of PP at the end of the day. This is what we call Cheater Fest 101. And it's so bad, man. Because that means These opponents are never dropping the fucking full performance anytime in front of your face. And when they do, oh, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it like big time. But to say though, let me just chill out here a bit. Cause yeah, I fucking despise this. This is like stupid. It's like, oh, you slapped the RGT in here, and he's just faking his ass off too. Cause you know he's faking. You know he's fucking faking because he's on sports medium tires. I mean, even the Hurricane on sports hard tires, even if it's on sports hard tires, it's still hitting like 640 or 660 for the Hurricane. That's ridiculous. If anything, that should be hitting 600. This car here, that's fine. The Supra's fine. The 911's fine. Oh wait. Yeah, okay, yeah, 911's fine. The Ioniq, that's probably up a little higher than it should be. The GTR Nismo, that's probably up a little higher than it should be, but it's fine. It's just those big stinking cheaters, man. You got the Golden Turd as the SU7 Ultra, which by the way, that is probably down tuned, but not severely. Because I'll just say this, go look at the tires of what it's wearing once we get up there. But yeah, you got the Ioniq S in sports hards, and the Preza 22B STI, which, yeah, that one's fine. That should be hitting around 600. Because how much of a limit this is at the end of the day. And then you got the 4C Alfa Romeo, got the Mercedes A. It almost tells me that the performance ratings need to be lowered. That's what this tells me. Because if you're gonna add cars like this, then the performance needs to go down. And I will say I have some proof to where they could do that, but they ain't gonna do that for some reason. I don't know why. They just ain't gonna do that. But I just noticed, like, example. The best example I could give is an engine swap we're going to see in the future here, which is the Tuscan Speed 6 with the XJR9. And while that hits a pretty high number, it also has some bad effects tied to it that should lower the PP at the end of the day, because how bad irreversibly it does, besides the arcade performance given. Because I hate to say this, Gran Turismo, I think you need to separate the arcade performance points from the simulation performance points. Like, if there's fuel involved, if there's tires involved, it becomes a big deal, I will say. That, or change the whole performance setting in general, because this performance setting system just seems to be more stupid than ever. And maybe I feel dumb that the fact that I finally discovered this at the end of the day, and it's just like, that's kind of the reason why I did the 130 mile per hour tryouts at the end of the day, because I decided, like, you know what, I'm not going to rely on PP, because PP malfunctions like so much, it's just not really worth attributing to that at the end of the day. Because what if this setup just didn't matter, you know? And that's, this event is that whole example of why I don't do PP runs anymore. This event killed the PP runs entirely. And I would say I fixed it, because I don't want to say it's just bad. I also want to throw a fix to it, and my only fix to this is lower the PP values. Like, severely lower the PP, like lower them at least 50. And you might got more possible instances, you know? Because if you're going to add supercars like Hurricane there, or the fucking SU7 Ultra, like, holy shit balls, I don't even have to mention how fast that's going. Everything goes, but I will mention anyways that the SU7 Ultra is supposed to be hitting like 230 miles per hour on these straightaways here. He's just playing with you. He's just playing with you at the end of the day. He is never using the full utilization of the SU7 Ultra's power. Even if downtuned, I still think it will hit 200, at least 230 for that instance. This car is just jousting with you. That's really it. But the fact is, though, that the fact that this car is an event represents everything wrong about my stance on when it comes to having fun when it comes to Gran Turismo events entirely. This is an F event, if I ever seen one, in this case. And it's stupid. It's just so stupid. In regards, considering, yeah, he's just hitting 190. Wait till we come back around later. He'll be hitting that 200. But he's definitely just faking, like hardcore. You know, it looks like he's, you know, full throttling. Reminder, it's AI. AI fucks with you. And I believe me because of Sophie instance and stuff. But yeah, it's just at the end of the day, this is just a big old disappointment event that they ever housed together. Sir, you can't use the car that's presented in the front at all, unless you slap comfort freaking tires on it, which that's really stupid. Don't do that. Unless you want a bad freaking time. That'll be a horrible time. I know it. But yeah, it's just looking at all the other cars, you know, the ones that are kind of reasonable to be in 600, because at least you can reduce those ones to 600. Because yeah, here's the other thing: I don't technically give fully shit to the other ones, because you're able to reduce them. You're able to reduce that Hurricane to 600. You're able to reduce the Galador to 600. You're able to reduce the NSX to 600. You know, it goes on and forth, but where this event stands, it's just so bad. Like, I can't believe this is even an event to begin with. Especially the payout when it comes to this event entirely. Because, yeah, that payout, terrible. $115,000, are you kidding me? I mean, technically it's like 100 something, but I don't ever count that because the fucking Queen Sport is a very difficult thing to hit, because they don't ever tell you if you're ever driving dirty or not. Or they don't give you enough indications that if you keep doing this, you won't get the clean bonus. Because you fuck up one little instance, oh, it's gone. Okay, fuck you too, Sony. Or, not Sony, but Gran Turismo. On that matter. Because, yeah, you need to have notification for that too. That's the one thing that's pissed me off. Like, there's like so many advancements of things you guys could do. If you're gonna be this much of a dick, at least be a generous dick, you know? As the thing goes. But yeah, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just, I want a fun event, and instead of a fun event, you just get this instance where you just see this crap. It's like, no thanks, I'm good. So yeah, this event, in the SU7 an F, because yeah, SU7 a terrible freaking electric car, I don't even know why we have that, besides a stupid partnership they did. And no, I'm not gonna say because it's China. No, it's fine. I think China vehicles are fine to come over here, as long as they're innovative and, you know, different enough, which this is different enough. I just hate the fact that it's just another electric car you just can't use for endurance means or nothing. It's just another joke in the wasteland, as the saying goes. If there was like a special button that you can hit for endurance mode or something, or, you know, something that car features have, by the way, because I will say I have discovered that some car features do have endurance mode in case they have to last longer, which that car should have it, but it don't. It ain't gonna. So ain't gonna implement that crap. Here's the Elantra NTC 2024. So yeah, we went from technically was considered the worst, I want to say worst car to me nowadays, to technically one of the best FF grade 4 cars you could technically drive, which is the Elantra NTC 2024. This is a very good FF car, I will say, because unlike most FF cars that has a acceleration stutter, this one has a bit minimal about that, so it will actually do the job what's needs to be doing at the high horsepower given, which in this case 515 horsepower. At best, though, for upgrades and stuff, you just get turbo upgrades and whatnot, whatever's, you know, considered purchase you just have on hand already and stuff. And yeah, that's basically about it. Besides the power restrictor and balance you have to buy too. That's really about it for this car. So not a bad thing, not a bad thing. And then wide body non-existent. There's no wide body. Now for parts, be kind of disappointed because there's really not much of a change you can do to it for spoilers and stuff, so that you get what you get. It sits on 18 inches standard. If you do aftermarket though, you can increase the width at least. I think that's about it. Yeah, just increase the width. That's about it, Captain. As thing goes. But yeah, otherwise not much else you can really do with the Elantra NTC. So now on to the event here, which, hey look, you could use it for this event, which is the World Touring Car 700 at Circuit du Spa Francorchamps. Just gonna say it's 20 minutes, so for that payout 140, kinda debatable. But the Elantra NTC is a very fun little FF Grade 4 car that I'm happy that they added as well, besides the stupid SG7. It's like, look, I get it. SG7 is fast as fuck, 526 horsepower. That is a lot. That's a lot of horsepower. Here's the problem though. It's an electric car. This is a gas car. Big difference. I wonder which one's gonna get there. And I have to pit every freaking lap for fuel because that's a dumb mechanic. I'm sorry. This thing goes. I mean, maybe it's my fault to think that you could turn around and throw this into endurance races and stuff. I'm sorry. If a car... I'm sorry. I think that's the main goal of what a car should achieve at the end of the day. I'm sorry. You just... I think every car should at least go around the track a couple times at least before giving out. And that's why I believe it. And here's the best part. I know there's gotta be electric cars out there that can do that. I just haven't seen the odds on that, and the problem is why I haven't seen the odds on that is because it's either two insufferable problems. The shitty transmission, or the really ridiculously high horsepower given. Because I will say one good thing that came out of SU7 was the fact it had a crazy transmission, like a 240 mile per hour transmission. That was crazy good. Where other cars sit at either 130 or 155 in some cases, which are terrible. It's like you're never utilizing the rest of that horsepower. That's the problem. It's only just for acceleration gain and not much else besides burning up the motor. I guess burn up the drivetrain just a bit quicker because the drivetrain's locked into 155. Cause yeah, I wouldn't be surprised you burn the transmission when you're just, you know, you're at max speed. You can't push any further. But yeah, that's another reason why I made the 155 Trias, by the way. Was because of that. Because I saw electric car hit 155. I was like, you know, I could probably do that. Which I think it's the Model E, by the way. Model E or Model 3, by the way. Yeah, Model 3, yeah. Because you try to do the sex, you know, the freaking Tesla cars. Which, like, no. Bad, Elon, bad. But yeah, the Elantra NTC is you know, a massive step up in terms of FF cars, because the Elantra N was already a crazy good car. Heck, I made a makeshift touring car out of that one. Believe it or not, and you're gonna be seeing that because just say there's an engine swap for that one. Because the engine swap for the regular Elantra gets the SC430 Grade 2 motor, which is kind of shocking because that's a Toyota motor. Didn't think Hyundai got the rights to that. Interesting. That was someone did it. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, it's crazy. Then you stuck a V8 in an FF too, which is also crazy too, because the only V8 FF I know of was some old muscle car. Because yeah, there was a muscle car that was a FF. But yeah, it was a crazy thing back then. And also was one of the most powerful ones. Or if not is. Although that car might take the cake now. If there's one weird thing I'll say about the Elantra N, it does sound like a bit of a putter for a vehicle. It's like a high rev bike. Or deep throated bike at the end of the day. That's what the Elantra TC to me is. Now the TCR part I don't know much about, sadly. I probably should look that up real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up real quick. Alright, after looking up a bit, TCR is basically a global production-based motorsport formula that was established by FIA in 2014 for four-door saloons and hatchbacks. Which is, I don't know what's the best way to say it. It's basically just, oh yeah, and not only that, they have to be equipped with 2.0 liter or 2.0 liter turbocharged engines at the end of it. That just make roughly technically 340. Because yeah, I will say this is much higher. Yeah, this is hitting, believe it or not, I believe 217 miles per hour. In case you're wondering, so it hits about 350 kilometers. That's what the goal I had in mind, and even with that 350 kilometers, still pretty good. Not really acceleration stuttering that bad, but it's definitely noticeable. But I will say, probably the best one on that part, because I will say all other FFs that try to hit that high mark, they kind of freak out usually, considering the Swiss Sport is one of them. So, but yeah, the TCR is basically a hatchback saloon competition built in mind for 2.0 liter turbocharged engines at the end of the day. So that's why that motor also sounds different, because it's probably not the same motor as the Lantra, a regular Lantra, I assume. On that matter in that case. I'm assuming of that matter. But yeah, that's basically what's to mention about that competition at the other day, which is an interesting competition. I kind of wondered if the Mazda 3 Grade 4 comes from that. Probably not. Then again, I have to see what kind of motor it has. If it has a 2.0, then yeah. If not, well, is what it is. Yeah, the Lantra N, very fast little machine at the end of the day. Considering how close the, because yeah, I will say when you slap that engine swap in the other Lantra, the performances are very close. I'll just say that much. But there is like one caveat difference what the SC4 can offer. I'll say. So there's no speed difference, I'll just say that much. Yeah, in terms of opponents, we have the Suzuki Swiss Sport, the Viper, and the GR Supra, the big three stooges, in other words. And then we have a V8 Vantage up here, surprisingly. But the real opponent, I will say to you, if he got up here quicker, would be the Hurricane. Because yeah, as you can see, he's kind of trying to get up there as quick as he can. He's just being very hidden about it. And he kind of shows prowess too on top of it. Concern, I mean, he can do 4 laps. Or, well, 4 laps of Le Mans. But for this case, probably a lot more. You also got the Lancer Evo, who's pretty crazy on fuel managed too. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, like how much of a difference the Lancer does compared to the Subaru WRX in terms of fuel management. It shows you who's the better on that at the end of the day. But yeah, overall, this Spa Breaker Champs at the end of the day, which yeah, I would say, I don't know, I guess a B for this one. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's just okay where it sits at. Sounds right to me when it comes to this event. Yeah, I think I forgot to mention basically the events. How do I appreciate them at the end of the day and stuff. But yeah, overall, it's just say a B. It's just okay, nothing crazy. It's a good old okay. This money, ooh. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot the NSX at one point just catapulted into the G7. Holy crap! Oh Jesus! Yeah, then you got the Cayman GT4, the Hurricane. But yeah, you can see him getting closer to the Aston Martin. He's getting closer. But yeah, I still got the 3 to go after here. Which eventually I'll get to them, because I will say this is a bit of a challenge in some ways, a bit for this car. Which I'm not surprised, because yeah, it's high powered and everything, and the acceleration stutter does probably cost that time just a bit here and there. But hitting like 2 minutes and 30 seconds though, that's pretty good for the pace given and such. Now if I slapped on like race medium tires, that probably would have been better, but the trade-off would be tires would burn a bit more. And I was kind of concerned about that, so yeah, I will say on the tires, bit front heavy. Which I'm not surprised because it's the FF. FFs are just going to burn their tires a lot quicker in the fronts. Which is good or bad. I would say mostly bad because, I mean, once you start burning your front tires so much, you begin to turn less and less over time. Become a huge detriment of why FF cars just ain't great when it comes to the higher horsepower ranges. For the lower horsepower ranges, like, you know, 155 miles per hour, they could be fantastic little machines in terms of pace in that case, because the grip can be fully utilized at that point. Where FRs and all-wheel drives kind of just okay where they sit at. I mean, unless your name's the Willys Jeep, in that matter. And that's an exception, a little bit. Considering how fast it did around to secure. Minute 4, and that was just 130 miles per hour tryout. I am curious if I slap the Hellcat in that, how fast it will go around then. The only problem is it's a Hellcat motor. The Hellcat is going to eat that fuel alive. But it might be fine anyways, because I can turn around D2 and and such, but we'll see. See more about on that one. Because yeah, that is one that's been moving around my mind. It's like, okay, so you know the regular Willys Jeep motor's crazy good, but what about the Hellcat one? That's how it goes. Yeah, then got the Viper chasing after me now because the Swift had to go in. I will say that Swift is definitely coming back though. Yeah, they really must have twisted his AI or something because he's a lot quicker. There's one AI I noticed that's been tweaked big time. It's the Swift Sport for the most part. So yeah, I think I did saw the RCF up there earlier. Now he's on the back now. He's burning his tires and shit. Some shit like that. And got the, which this is a opponent I'm still surprised that's in the competition to this day. Is the GT86 one. I'm surprised that one's still there. But then again, the Super's probably getting phased out once again, and they're probably just gonna try to make the MR2 to be a replacement, perhaps. And you know what? I'm up for that because the MR2 would be kind of better. In my case, because then it's a mid-engine sports car that's usually pretty fast. Yeah, got the V8 Vantage here. It's on, but you got the K-Man. So, oh yeah, you probably noticed it looks like it's rain. It's technically not, because I will say I tried like 3 instances of this, because just to say, I had to record this twice, because I forgot to save the replay footage of the first time, so I had to do this again. So yeah, this is technically me doing a faster take than what I did last time. So whoopsie on that, but I still did it anyways, even though it still took another 20 minutes. It's like, I was just so pissed, like, god damn it. It's like, I wasted 20 minutes for that. Gotta do it again. This thing goes. And luckily it was just this one, not the other one, thank god. Got the GR Super race car. Oh, mine's 3 and 5th now. Oh, the SX is like 4th right now too. And again, I think that Super had the fuel too. So then again, yeah, I'm basically just showing the most of the gist of the event, and then we'll cut to the base of the last lap here, which is coming up here. Yeah, I just want to show until I fuel here, which eventually I did. Which the Viper is to you as well, because here it comes. And that's that basically wraps that hole in general for the race, because at this point they're definitely not going to be catching me in the process, as they're like 10 to 20 seconds away from me. The Swift is. Because yeah, the Swift eventually did got back up here, and then the Hurricane's almost there basically. You just gotta beat the Viper and the Swift. But good luck at this point in the final lap, because he's still about 10 seconds away. He's gonna have to need to pull a high advantage in order to get up there, from what it looks like. Yeah, then like 2:29, so I broke the 2 minutes and 30 threshold. That's pretty good for the most part. Yeah, for a 217 mile per hour. Well, technically 300 if you count kilometers with 350. This car is overall a pretty good FF-able machine. If there's any gripe I have about it, it's just the tires. That's really it. But that's not surprising. It's an FF. Otherwise, fantastic machine. I would give it a rank B, because yeah, these are definitely going to be higher grades for sure. Or you know what? I'll give it an A, because unlike most FFs, if you so happen to high upgrade them, they're going to be burning up tires a bit more. This one's probably like the best one on that result, which I'm not surprised, because that's the one thing I was happy about the Elantra in, was how good it was on dealing with tire or putting down the speed for tires, and this one's pretty good about it. Because I don't know if this has the in-drive still or not, but it definitely feels sort of a semblance to that, I guess so. Although I will say, if it did actually have the in-drive, it'd be 8-speed. I will say, because this did got reduced to like 6-speed on top of it, so I will mention that too. If there's anything else to mention, it'd be kind of just a niche thing, I think, for the most part. Yeah, there wasn't really much parts to change when it came to this vehicle at the end of the day. But overall, just basically having fun with the Lantra N. There's not much else to really say. And now on, and then yeah, I will say after the showcase here, I'll be doing the engine swaps. Which hopefully try to put all the engine swaps together, but we'll see. For the most part. Yeah, the Lantra N definitely a fun little touring car at the end of the day. And definitely would be one to revisit to every now and then. Makes me wonder how well that's gonna be good for the 155 mile per hour tryouts. That I do wonder. So, because yeah, right now I have the other Hyundai. I have the Genesis. Because yeah, there's two of them. Just so, which I probably would say the Genesis be better, but you know. But now on to the next one, which is the Porsche 911 GT3R. So here's the parts and list for the 911 GT3R, which, like the Lantra N, there's technically not much besides increasing the turbo, which, yeah, in order to hit 250 miles per hour, because yeah, I will say I went crazy with this build, you need that high turbocharger to do the whatnot numbers there, because I believe that is max performance, and I also had to lower the stability of the rear spoiler to give it enough speed to hit 250. But yeah, this hits 250 miles per hour, and that's how fast it hits for hitting 250, which is really good. And the PPs of 789.46. Very good. That's very good overall for the 911. And that's such. So now, oh yeah, there's just no white body. So now to the parts, which I will say I wish I would have checked this sooner, because I realized there was a lot of things you could do to this. Because I would think it'd be like the Lantra N, where you just can't do much. No, there's a lot you can do to it. You can change the rims to have. Okay, yeah, just stuck with 18 inch. Never mind. Even on aftermarket. Okay. Now for the front, though, you can change the front to have. Those called louvers. I think they're called louvers or something, or canards. I think those are canards. And then you can also have a wetter setup for if you really want to. I just didn't at the end of the day. It's like, okay, that is something, but it's not quite what I was, you know, it's something. It just got weird, had the weird little antenna thing on the roof there. And then you can have this in the back. I'm not sure what that is exactly. Something. At the end of the day, but that's otherwise all you can technically do to the car at the end of the day. Besides, I did forget to probably check tires at check the tire car break in. But 2-wheel touring car 800 at Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. Yeah, because they decided to do this one, but instead of the 7 laps and the higher burn factors of World Touring 700, 800 is a bit more durable, but you have an 8 times burn on the tires, because yeah, they must have realized the real problem when it comes to production cars at high horsepower, that tire burn is a problem, because I've been noticing that for some of these recent events, that they've been up on the tire burnage but not much on the fuel side of things. Technically, the fuel side is just 3 times. But yeah, it's just another, I would say another 20 minutes race, I would say. Doing basically 2 minutes per lap, sometimes less than 2 minutes if you hit it just right. But with the 250 mile per hour Porsche, you can technically do that. So, yeah, this thing is unbelievably fast though with the 250 mile per hour setup. Just how fast it is caught up to the Aston Martin, just like that. Any trade-off though is, I would say, fuel burnage, but since it's a low fuel burnage, you're not really going to see that. If anything, really, the tire burn should be one thing, but the tire burn is also high, so, you know, it just, like, this is a really weird setup when it comes to this race in general, because they just really want to optimize that it needs to be GT3 racers and not a production car. But if you set up and take a higher horsepower car like this, you're just gonna win it like no tomorrow. It's definitely not gonna be a problem for the most case, I would say. Considering I think this race came back around for the weeklies, matter of fact, which I don't know if it's this one right now, but as of now though, I took the Peugeot 908 and just destroyed them at the end of the day. Just utterly destroyed them. As thing goes. But I will say you will have to lean the fuel just a tad, just to make sure that guaranteed 10 laps, just like maybe 2 at best. Otherwise, you basically just had the full potential of the car right there for you. And this thing just hauls butt, and that's what's great about the GT3R. That and, you know, the Porsche motor, because Porsche motors are just designed for motorsports. They ain't just a sport, they're motorsport motors. That's why they're just that utterly expensive too on top of it. They're not just made to be a sports car, they're made to be a marvelous sports car. And that I have to give to Porsche at the end of the day, because at least that's the crazy thing you get in return for the high costing factors that they are usually issued. Because most Porsches, which, you know, usually cost around 200,000, 250,000, or 300,000. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be hard to. Well, then again, for the other Porsche's case, that has a DRS system. This one don't. So I will say this is just straight up just GT3 specs and nothing else. Because I figured the Porsche would have the DRS system, because I wondered they would implement that. Nope, they haven't implemented that yet, or tried to, or make some sort of kind of GT3X version or something in reference to GTX series, a special GTX series. Because yeah, there was a series between grade 4 and grade 3, which was GTX. GTX was basically a higher grade of 4, utilizing more horsepower and stuff, while I want to say offering specialty stuff on top of it. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing that series soon. Matter of fact, I will say that Lancia was technically GTX in terms of setup I did. That was technically a GTX build. I'm gonna consider that as. But yeah, so yeah. In terms of opponents here, we have the 296, we have the M6 GT3 Endurance, and then we have the 911 GT3R. I will say, just like me, who did one run of this, that 911, same case. So yeah, if you ain't quick enough, that 911 is just gonna get there at the end of the day. And then you got the M6 GT3 Sprint, which probably burn a lot quicker than the Endurance one, so hence the main difference. That's why one's called Sprint, the other one's called Endurance, because one's built in mind to be just getting there, the other one's built for the long run. And so, technically. That's why it's always kind of fun to see 2 different models. Yeah, and then you have the NSX GT500, he just sit in the back. Poor sod. But anyways, this thing goes. And then, yeah, I'll say this, do not run race softs. I don't know why some of these guys have run race softs. That's just a dumb choice, considering how bad he's burned already. Yeah, he was burned big time. Sick. And then you got the 911 RSR, you got the old one, which yeah, also run on softs, you dope. This thing goes. But yeah, do not run on softs. Just have hards or mediums. You'll be set for life. As long as you're in a GT3 racer. If you're in some kind of special racer, perhaps might be possible. I could see someone try to do the S-Space F1 with this, which looks possible. It does very much look possible. I have to see. And then you got the Corvette C7 Grade 3, the Viper SRT GT3. Yeah, there's me right there. and like 200 miles per hour not straight, which yeah, that is a very fast speed for GT3s. So you have to make sure to brake when you swing out there. It's always kind of weird why Mount Panorama has that kind of, you know, swing out kind of turn at the end there, because that just feels pretty deadly when you have to brake too in the process. Because I will say that kind of goes against your whole braking odds on that, because you still have to straighten out your brakes. Unless you mean to tell me you're gonna have to brake there, which I don't know if everyone would ever do that for the best, you know, time measurement and speed, but just say. It just feels unsafe is what I'm saying. Just a tad. And you got the M6 GT3 Sprint still up here, surprisingly. Is he on softs? I know the 296 is, which I was dumb. I think mediums is probably okay. I think, for the most part. But yeah, otherwise, that's technically not so bad otherwise. Got the GTR Nismo, let's go on him. As I try to get by him. Yeah, I will say, even if I'm driving this fast, this is still technically kind of a tough race, surprisingly. So yeah, I'd be careful with if you're trying to do some kind of production car, like maybe some hypercar or something for this, because it might be a very difficult race to do. At the end of the day. Something like if you toss a Enzo Ferrari in here. Because I know those cars are pretty crazy quick and they're very gas efficient and stuff. Because there's hypercars like that, I know they're good, but then there's terrible ones like the Aston Martin Vulcan. That one's just bad. That one needs to get lowered. Because I'm sorry, as much as the quote-unquote time attack car, it really doesn't hit that pace at all for me. Fuck, if anything, the GT3 will whoop its ass. This thing goes. In fact, the 177 might whoop its ass. This thing goes. Yeah, you get the M6 GT3 Endurance up here up next for me to deal with. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure to show everything, which includes the dash cams. Which yeah, as you probably saw earlier, you could look if you look behind in the dash cam there, or not dash cam, but the helmet cam. You notice you can look behind and see the insides of the back. I don't think you're supposed to see that, just to say. So there might be an update in the future where they're gonna probably fix that. So just to say in advance, that's just a thing you can do. Although I will say that is real awesome. Look in the back, you just don't see anything. Which that's probably true. That's the funny part. Although when you look at the 296's case, you can see something back there at least because it has a window and stuff. So it's just kind of a weird thing for that. I will say, very weird for the most part. Yeah, the 911 GT3R is a very fantastic machine, and definitely, I would say, A rank or S rank for the most part. It's crazy good for what it does. As a GT3 racer, it makes me wonder if I lower it down to GT4, how crazy it's going to be there in that region. Because yeah, I do like taking a car and lowering it, see if it does even better. Like example, like in terms of series, I don't really like grade 4 because it's just very well. Here's the thing, I technically don't mind it, but the problem is the cars that are issued there feel like they need to be in the higher performance. Like example, the Viper needs to be GTX, not a GT4. For example. Or the Corvette, or the Mustang, etc. So it just doesn't feel right. Where FF cars, yeah, then yeah, they can hit grade 4 because that's the highest point of where they're going to hit at the end of the day, which in this case is 200 miles per hour. Oh yeah, I will say if there's anything, the 911 does have a bit of a whiplash because there's a lot of horsepower put into it, so it will try to whip out more than it should sometimes. And you just got, wow, okay, yeah, that's interesting, yeah. Okay, so the Sprint didn't feel right, no. Okay, that's interesting because as soon as I got up here, the 296 is up here all of a sudden. Alright, so we got some rubber band repellent crap going on or something. Now just look at the dash cam, just see them, and this actually just chilling. Gotta feel bad. You get the V12 Vantage, just driving about. RC. But then again, I will say that NSX GT500 is at a disadvantage because those GT500s are known for corn tracks, not real much of stuff like this here. But yeah, before someone says Fuji Speedway, I kind of find Fuji Speedway more of a corn track than a speed track, except for that big straightaway. That's the only time you could say speedway is that straightaway. I say straightaway loosely because there's not very. If there's a problem I have about Fuji Speedway, it's that consistency is just not really there because it has a lot of jab of corners. Like that first corner, as soon as you go drive through that straightaway, while it is a long straightaway, you have to slam your brakes and then turn on in because of the jab of a corner and stuff. A jab roundabout and stuff. So which breaks the consistency of being a speedway to me at the end of the day. Speedway is something like high-speed ring example. That's a speedway. That's where consistency is a matter, and you have to try to keep that consistency throughout. Where Fuji Speedway doesn't really have that consistency because you have that jab corner, and then at some point when you go along the string of corners and stuff, the roundabout corners and stuff, eventually you end up with jab over there too. So it's like it just like the consistency ain't there when it comes to the speedway track. For being called a speedway track. That's my biggest issue about Fuji Speedway. A little bit. But like Mount Panorama is just Mount Panorama, which that fits just right. That's pretty perfect, I gotta say. Because you got the straightaways and you got a couple jab corners here and there. And then a string of corners and stuff. The roadway, so to say. Yeah, here comes a bunch of contenders going in the pits though. We got GTR Nismo just going on in. The Ford GT. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. You can look behind the Porsche and you can just see the windshield not being there in the back. As that goes. So instead, you just see the cover. Whereas all of them, you can see their windshields of, and that makes sense. It's just the Porsche's case. It's like, oh, you can't see anything back there. Which for those that usually just can't see anything back there, they just have a makeshift dash cam for that case. So it's just kind of weird at the end of the day. Just very weird for the most part. Yep, so now we just see our contenders. Okay, so he was on race sauce. Okay, I thought he was. There's like a. Get the Corvette T7. GTR Nismo back in the fray, in the race sauce again, which yeah, that's the freaking fast one again. I just realized. Faster than usual Gran Turismo movie GTR Nismo, because yeah, of course they gotta keep sponsoring that one. So the nice pretty red stripe one they have. Or the maroon color in other words. The 296 Ferrari just in 6th now. Ford GT's up a little higher. That kind of shocks me a bit, because yeah, usually that one just sits in the back. Got the Audi R8 going along in the 4th here. They got the M6 GT3 Endurance stuff, and then you got the 911, which I'm not surprised, because yeah, that's gonna be the contender of the show. Yeah, that basically technically wraps up for this event in a nutshell at the end of the day, as we get to the end point here. Yeah, he's definitely going to be lasting throughout the race though, because he's on the setup that you should be. He's racing hard tires and just getting there at the end of the day. Because longevity is going to be the matter when it comes to this race. So it's a speed course. Yeah, I will say Mount Panorama to me is a bit of a speed course. It's like Deep Forest where it has big 2 straightaways and then just a bunch of string of corners and stuff. So Mount Panorama, well, it's kind of funny because what Deep Forest does is what Mount Panorama does. Which I wonder that's where the inspiration was at, but then it's also discovered that apparently, I don't know if I'm going to say this right or not, but apparently Deep Forest Raceway's track is inspired by a track that's in Iowa, apparently. Which, the fact that it's in Iowa is holy crap, it's like, oh shit, there's actually a track there. I mean, there is tracks around states and stuff, and you know, Iowa's my state too, so you know, it just kind of shocks me. Like, oh, we have Deep Forest Raceway at home, basically. Holy crap! Didn't expect that. The Deep Forest Raceway at home. But yeah, a lot of people recently went over there as tourists to see this, to see the simulation. There's a lot of simulation when it comes to that track. So, yeah, we're just going to skip straight to the final lap though, for the heck of it, because I might as well cut some of this time, because I'm about to say it, but it's, the time overall for this video is 57 minutes and 21 seconds, so I might as well end it here. But yeah, overall that basically wraps that in terms of the showcase. Overall we got 2 great race cars and 1 shitty electric car. There's a shitty event tied to it on top of it that you can't even use again, I'll just say. Unless you slap on comfort tires, maybe. And that's a maybe. Like, you could do it, but I don't know it's gonna be worth it though, as thing goes. So basically that wraps that in terms of this episode here. I'm just seeing what's left of the contenders at the point. Oh yeah, I got the BRZ too. Super BRZ02. I keep forgetting that was there. Yeah, just recapping all the opponents, like who's all gonna make it to spots. But yeah, NSX just still strolling. I think I'm about to get up to him. In some ways. He's just strolling about. Everything else. Yeah, I was getting pretty close to him at the end of the day. Yeah, that basically wraps up for this episode. Yeah, I had to wing 2 for the wing 2 or 3 for the last bit here, because it could do the full 10, but because the higher horsepower did, you do have to wing cut just a tad. Yes, it did. But yeah, that basically wraps up for this episode. So I'll see you guys all next time. I hope you enjoyed what you watched here. Besides my crazy rant about the Xiaomi SU7, big old steam pile of crud there. Now let's see if I can drift this car. And Silver says no. So until then, people, I'll see you guys all next time. You guys take care and ciao. Till then, take care.